I've never told this story publicly before, not because it sounds unbelievable, but because every time I remember it, I get the same feeling, like something shifts, like something realizes it's being remembered. This happened 3 years ago in a small town just outside Asheville, North Carolina, the kind of place where nights get quiet enough that silence feels loud. And this is the one night I wish I could forget. It was late, close to 10 p.m. I was driving home from visiting my sister with my 4-year-old daughter Lily strapped into her car seat behind me. The interior of the car glowed faintly orange from the dashboard lights. The radio was low, nothing unusual. Lily was humming softly to herself, one of those tuneless little melodies kids make up as they go. It was comforting, normal. The road we took cuts through a long stretch of woods, no streetlights, no houses, just trees packed so tightly together they swallowed the headlights after a few feet. Every so often, we'd pass an old mailbox leaning at an angle, like it had given up years ago. The night felt heavy, still.
Halfway down that road, Lily stopped humming. Not abruptly. It just faded away. The sudden quiet felt wrong, like the air had been sucked out of the car. I checked the rearview mirror. Her eyes weren't on me. They were fixed on something outside her window. Her face was calm, too calm. Then she spoke. "Daddy," she said quietly, "why are they standing so close to the road?" My foot eased off the gas without me thinking. "Who, sweetheart?" I asked. She didn't look away from the window. "The people," she said. "They don't like the dark." A chill crept up my arms. I looked where she was staring. My headlights swept over trees, brush, and a narrow strip of dirt shoulder. There was no one there, not even an animal. I laughed, forced and thin. "You're probably just seeing shadows," I said. Lily shook her head slowly. "No," she said, "they're not shadows." My stomach tightened. "What are they then?" I asked, already regretting the question. She replied, without hesitation, "They're waiting." Her finger lifted. She pointed directly into the trees, where the forest was thickest, where the headlights barely touched. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "They're holding their faces." My chest felt tight, like I couldn't get a full breath. "Holding their faces how?" I asked. She paused, thought about it. "They don't want to look like they do." I didn't laugh this time. I didn't ask another question. I pressed the gas. The engine hummed louder as the car sped up. Trees blurred past. I kept my eyes forward, afraid that if I looked too closely into the woods, I might see something I couldn't unsee. In the mirror, Lily had gone quiet again. She wasn't scared. She looked observant, like she was watching something pass us by. When we got home, everything felt wrong because it felt normal. Lily ate dinner. She laughed at her cartoons. She asked for dessert. She never mentioned the people again. I told myself kids imagine things, that my brain filled in the gaps, that fear had made something out of nothing. But I still locked the doors that night, twice. Later, I tucked Lily into bed. Her room was dim, lit only by her nightlight. The hallway behind me stretched into darkness. As I reached for the light switch, she grabbed my wrist. Her grip was tight. "Daddy?" she whispered. "Yes, sweetheart?" "They followed us." My blood went cold. She wasn't looking at me. She was looking past me, into the hallway behind my shoulder. "But it's okay," she added softly. I swallowed. "Why is it okay?" "They can't come inside if you don't see them." I turned off the light and closed the door slowly. I did not look into the hallway. The next morning, Lily didn't remember any of it.
Not the people, not the road, not the faces. But I did. And I still do. I don't drive that road after sunset anymore, because sometimes when my headlights hit the trees just right, I swear I see hands covering faces, waiting. I was 18, barely old enough to feel like an adult, driving alone for the first time without being scared of it. It was late afternoon when the traffic stopped. Not slowed, stopped. The kind where no one honks, no one complains. Everyone just knows something is wrong. Up ahead, red and blue lights flickered against the trees lining the highway. I crept forward, foot hovering over the brake, heart thudding harder with every inch. Then I saw it. A car twisted in a way cars aren't supposed to twist. Glass everywhere, a tarp pulled halfway over something on the road. Someone had died. I swallowed hard and forced myself to keep driving. I didn't want to stare. I didn't want that image stuck in my head. The moment I passed the scene, I felt it. A shift in the air. The car suddenly felt crowded. I smelled perfume, clean, office-like. Not mine. I glanced to my right. There was a woman sitting in my passenger seat. I screamed. I slammed the brakes so hard the seatbelt cut into my chest. The car swerved before I got control again. My hands shook so badly I could barely keep the wheel straight. She looked just as terrified as I was. Where am I?" she shouted, gripping the door handle. "Who are you?" She was dressed like she'd just left work. Plain blouse, slacks, sensible shoes. Her hair was neat, her makeup done. She looked real, but something was wrong. Her edges didn't quite match the world, like she was slightly out of focus, like the light didn't know how to touch her. I don't know," I stammered. "You're in my car. You just appeared." Her breathing grew fast and shallow. She kept looking down at her hands, turning them over like she expected them to disappear. "I was driving," she whispered. "There was a truck. I heard metal, then nothing." That's when the cold settled into my bones. The tarp, the crash. I swallowed. There was an accident back there. She looked at me slowly, too slowly. "No," she said. "I didn't feel anything." Her voice cracked. "I should have felt something." The road stretched ahead, empty and quiet. The sun was beginning to dip, painting the trees gold. I didn't know what to do. I was just a kid. I wasn't meant to handle this. "I think," I said carefully, "you didn't make it." She shook her head at first. Then her face crumpled. "No," she whispered again. "I have to call my sister. She's expecting me." Her hand passed through the phone when she tried to grab mine. That's when she started crying. Not screaming, not wailing, just silent tears sliding down her face as realization settled in. I pulled the car over near a break in the trees where sunlight poured through like a doorway. "I don't think you're supposed to be here," I said, voice trembling. "But maybe you don't have to be scared." She followed my gaze toward the light. Her breathing slowed. "Am I dead?" she asked. I nodded. She closed her eyes. For a moment she looked peaceful, relieved even. Then she turned to me. "Thank you for stopping." The air shifted again. The seat beside me was empty. No perfume, no warmth, nothing. I sat there for a long time, staring at the passenger seat, convincing myself I'd imagined it. Shock does strange things to people. I went home and didn't tell anyone. 3 days later, a news report came on about a fatal highway collision. The anchor mentioned the victim's name. Then they showed her photo. The same blouse, the same hair, the same face that had been sitting inches from mine. I turned the TV off and sat in silence.
To this day, I never drive past an accident without checking the empty seat beside me, just to make sure it's still empty.